Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. What I have for you guys today is some information on some of Arken Optics accessories that they offer. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these in extensive detail, but I'm going to talk about some of the do's and don'ts, some of the situations that I run into out at the range or in the field when I bump into people with optics, and not necessarily the Arken ones, but I'm going to apply it to the Arken stuff because I got a bunch of it here and I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start this out talking about what Arken has, and I've got these things mounted up on this LH4 here, but I'm going to start this off going through the magnification throw lever. So this is simply a device that, in the case of the Arken Optics, clamps onto your magnification dial, and it allows you to get more leverage to spin this dial. Now, the LPVO optics that they have, some optics from other brands you're going to find, this is not an accessory you're going to use because they have a provision for a post that goes into it. Different situation, we're not going to cover that. But when it comes to these clamp-on magnification throw devices, again, what these things are designed to do is give you quick leverage to turn these dials. Now, the Arken Optics got some really tight tolerances, not only on this magnification ring, but on your illumination dial as well as your side parallax adjustment. And some people find these things are pretty tight, hard to turn. Colder the scope gets, the tighter these tolerances get. That's what I've found. So having one of these magnification dials on here, if you tend to spin this dial around much, is really almost a must on these. So first do, kind of don't, that I'm going to get to on this thing and setting these things up. Now, an ingenious little design that Arken has put into this throw lever. Now, I don't know if this is on purpose intentionally, but it works out well, is this throw lever is hollow. There's some holes in here. And what that does is it helps you out if you orient this throw lever on a magnification number that you tend to use the majority of the time. So if you're putting this on a hunting optic and hey, I like 10 as the setting, this field, this woodlot where I overlook, I'm at the range, I'm shooting at 100 yards, I really like 12, whatever it may be, when you clamp this device on, you can orient it. In this case, I'm on 9. I can orient this to have the throw lever completely straight up and down, and what that allows me to do is I can look right through this. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I can look right through there and I can see my elevation turret. I can see the numbers on here where I'm at. So if I'm needing to make an adjustment, I can look right through there. I can see the small hash diamond on the body of the scope as well as the number. I don't know if Arken intended for it to be that way or if they're just trying to get this thing lightweight, but it works out that way, and it is something you can kind of think about when it comes to mounting this up. And speaking of mounting it, the next little do or don't forget to do when you mount this device. Now, this thing does not need gorilla strength torque. It comes with a small wrench. The small wrench works fine. It's just a couple millimeter Allen screw that's going to go in here. But what I really recommend you use when you get it figured out where you want it, put some of this blue Loctite on there. There's a groove in the magnification dial ring that this thing sets in. Snug it up just a bit, get it oriented to where you want it, figure that stuff out, mock it all up, pop the screw out, put your blue Loctite on, make sure everything's clean, no grease, no oil or gun cleaners on there, put that on there, snug it up, and you're good to go. You know, recoil, vibrations, everything that we get from these things can cause all these screws to loosen up. And we know that from the turrets. People are having issues losing these 2 millimeter Allen set screws on their turrets. Again, Loctite, Vibratite, something like that. Getting to the next one. Now, this is the main one that I tend to find, the primary one I see out at the range when I'm helping people out. They're putting a new scope on or they're zeroing a rifle or something. I've got another rifle here. I've got an EP5 mounted up on this Savage bolt action. Now, there's no ammunition in here. I don't know why we all do that, but maybe some guy in a video sent one off at one point. But what I want to show you guys, when it comes to orienting this lever, now this is something people, you may think this is like, you're telling me the obvious, but I run into this. People will orient this thing, they'll spin their magnification to where they want it. In this case, I'm at the lowest setting of a 6, and they don't realize that when they flip their bolt up, that their bolt will actually hit that lever. Or they get it in such a position that their hand is hitting it, they're racking their knuckles or scraping their hands. It just turns into a hot mess if you spin this lever down too far. So in this case, this is a right-handed rifle. If I spin this thing all the way up to 24, I've got clearance on this side, and as you can see, making sure not to put this thing through my lights, but I'm close to the body back here as well of my bolt. So you need to make sure and double check your clearances, both left and right, when you put this thing on. You know, I've got it oriented at an 8 on this one, and if I put it at an 8 so I can look through it like I was saying, 8 is a common magnification that I use on this EPL4 for those distances. But make sure when you spin this thing down, you're not going to rack it with your bolt, and you're not going to rack your knuckles on this thing. So that is the do-don't that you really want to double check, is making sure that your throw lever's not going to hit anything. And aside from that, that really is kind of all you got to take care of when it comes to these things. Make sure you got it in the groove. Make sure you have it torqued down plenty tight, so you're not going to lose this thing, or it's not just going to be spinning free. Because again, this magnification dial is going to snug up when you get out in cold conditions. It's sub-zero they're calling for here this week. I'm going to get out and test some ammunition in that really cold weather, and I can guarantee on the EPL4 and EP5 that I take out that this is going to be extremely tight. Now the same thing holds true when you get to one of the Arken Optics, their bubble levels. Now I've got the bubble level on the EPL4 there, and I've got it on here. And similar things, you want to make sure that this bubble level, you use a little bit of the Loctite on there, you get it all set up, and mock this thing up first. My dog just came to visit me. I don't know if you guys can see him, but mock everything up. And again, when you put the bubble level on, you need to make sure, one, it's in a position that you can see the thing, but you're not going to be hitting your rings, you're not bumping up and everything. I mean, the bubble part, the leveling is obvious. Level the rifle, level the level, blah, 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 all that stuff. But I'm talking about position fore and aft. Get this thing in a position where it's not going to be hitting things. It's not in the way you can still get to your turrets or your parallax knobs and things like that. So mock everything up before you head out to the range or out on your hunting trip. That's the do that I tell people. Don't forget to do it and get out, get to your trip, get the thing out there, go to rack your gun, and you smash or you break the thing right off with your bolt, or you simply make a noise, the deer runs off, and now it's Arken's fault. You guys know where I'm going with this stuff. Check this stuff out and mock it up. It sounds like, hey, silly, you're talking stupid, everybody knows this, but I run into this stuff more times than you guys can imagine out at the range. So hey, that's really it I got for you guys with this stuff when it comes to talking about these two accessories that Arken offers. Got some other content out going through their halo rings, their halo tie rings. I'll talk a bit about that stuff, some do's and don'ts as well. But hey, with that, do get yourself on out to the range and keep on shooting.
If she walks up with a cool